Good evening, fellow patrons. In today's video, I am breaking down the strategy I used to reach round 50 in the new Black Ops 7 Zombies starting room mode on Ashes of the Damned without using any gobblegums. I was so hyped when Treyarch broke the news that they were bringing back the game mode permanently and so early on in the game's lifespan. I think the starting room mode is one of the most challenging events in Call of Duty Zombies history, with or without gobblegums. And the mode has been my favorite topic to make content on since I started this channel. To date, my Terminus starting room no gum strategy guide from Black Ops 6 is far and away my most popular video in terms of watch hours, and I think that is honestly probably my biggest achievement of my Zombies career. So in this video, I will break down every facet of this strategy that is essential in order to reach the round 50 milestone. To start things off, I'm going to delve into the augments that make this challenge so much easier. Being confined to the starting room, there is no way to get additional armor plates unless you use a gobblegum, which is no fun. The damage mitigation and durability per armor plate increases as you purchase more armor, so at higher rounds, the single plate of armor that you spawn in with essentially gets eviscerated from just 2 hits. That being said, maximizing your mobility is the #1 key to completing this challenge. The Guns Up Make Augment from Stamina Up is such a game changer. It makes the flow of your game so much smoother, especially with a hip-fire centered weapon like the ray gun. I did not have the Hotfoot minor augment equipped in this gameplay because I was unsure if there would be numerous uber clauses spawning in, but you only have to deal with the one that spawns in at round 8, so you don't need to worry about taking damage from the aimbotted electricity orbs. The footwork augment is, in my opinion, one of the most important augments in the game. It makes weaving in and out of hordes so much easier. I never unequipped this augment, it's elite. Moving on to Speed Cola, the Ammo Surge Major augment from how it is described in the game menu doesn't seem all that beneficial, but you will notice a huge difference in the amount of space you can create between yourself and the zombies when you are backpedaling and reloading. The 2 point-blank range-centered augments from Deadshot are, in my opinion, the most underrated augments in the game. They pair extremely well with the Speed Cola Ammo Surge augment, and combined together they will give you so much more breathing room in close-quarter situations. Everyone knows how OP Tribologist from PhD is, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. I'll touch on a few more augments later on in the video, but I am just going to quickly scroll through every augment I would recommend equipping for this challenge in case you guys are curious about all of the other perks. You'll want to spawn in with Toxic Growth, as this only the way you will be able to get enough perks to force the Wunderfizz machine to spawn in. You'll likely get your first mystery perk around round 8, the second in the low teens, 1 in the high teens, and your 4th in the early 20s. It is highly unlikely that you will receive Juggernaut in your first 4 perks, so your head has got to be on a swivel until the Wunderfizz spawns in. Also, do not waste your money on pack-a-punching your weapons. A tier 1 PAP crystal will almost always drop from the plants before round 10, and several tier 2 crystals will drop in the mid-teens. Once you have a solid epic PAP tier 2 gun and your essential perks, you'll be ready for the next phase of the strategy. The next phase of the strategy is centered around spinning the box in order to feed good old Chompy. Although the salvage is completely worthless, if you feed him enough, you are guaranteed a free ray gun, which will be your workhorse for the rest of the game. Once you have the ray gun, you'll be able to upgrade to tier 2 pack very quickly if you continue harvesting the plants with Toxic Growth. I waited until the late 30s to switch over to Ether Shroud. Being consistent with the Toxic Growth strategy is a great way to get a few eternal perks. Self-revives are constantly dropped as well. For ZERSA rounds, the most efficient way to eliminate them is with the ray gun and hunter drones. Once you hit the 30s, the ZERSAs will become pretty tanky, so this is when you'll want to pivot to almost exclusively using hunter drones. Pairing the Picky Eater augment from Vulturade and the fully equipped Miner augment from Mule Kick will allow you to hold up to 3 drones at once and allow you to pick them up very frequently. In most scenarios, if I cannot hold any drones and see one on the ground, I will throw 2 in the air because they only detonate when elites spawn in. This is usually pretty effective, but I would advise against this tactic in this map and game mode. The ZERSAs will spawn near Tessie and will leap over this concrete barrier to enter the map. If you deploy the drone prior to the ZERSA spawning in, the drone will hit the concrete barrier and you won't be able to inflict any damage to the bear. I like to get up on this tank and wait until I see the ZERSA hop over the fence. Once she's over the fence, let it rip. I'm not certain if they buffed the drones, but they were cooking all the way to round 50. It only takes 2 to eliminate a fresh ZERSA. In the event that 2 spawn in the same round, the ray gun will make quick work of its remaining health. These rounds are actually not any more difficult than regular rounds if you implement this tactic. Honestly, the hardest and most stressful part of the challenge is the first 20 rounds. Once you have the ray gun fully upgraded with all your perks, it's smooth sailing. Also, if you come across a dog score streak, I would highly recommend immediately putting into sentry mode. It will allow you to not only resupply your ammo and equipment, but it will also preserve the lifespan of the score streak. The one I had in this match lasted almost 10 rounds. If you try to approach the dog to refill your equipment, make sure you are on the correct side of the dog. There is an interaction that I was unaware of where you can pet the dog instead of resupplying. I almost went down because of this, so just keep that in mind. Overall, if you keep moving around the plaza, you should be pretty capable of reaching round 50, especially with the augments I recommended earlier in the video. I appreciate you guys watching. I will be attempting the Astromalorum starting room challenge tomorrow, which I think will be much more difficult. If the Wonder Fizz does not spawn in, it is going to be an absolute gauntlet to battle Oscar in that small of a space for 40 plus rounds, so stay tuned for that. J-Jet out.